Robust stature, immense strength, and massive, formidable antlers that can make the most fearless bears and wolves rethink their bravado. This apex beast epitomizes the essence of power and sheer dominance while effortlessly traversing the rugged landscapes and asserting its dominance in the untamed realms of the wild. Captured in the vivid descriptions of ancient Stone Age scriptures, this majestic creature stands as the lone survivor of its prehistoric lineage, carrying with it the echoes of a bygone era. Meet the world's largest and most formidable deer, the moose. The moose, Alces, is the largest deer worldwide, standing as tall as the second largest land mammal in North America, yielding only to the mighty American buffalo in terms of mass. Not to be confused with the North American term elk, which pertains to the wapiti species of deer. This solitary survivor within the Alces genus is referred to as moose in North America and as elk in Eurasia. The earliest recorded description of the moose is in Julius Caesar's first-hand account of the Gallic Wars, where the ancestors of this modern-day moose are described as deer-like creatures with gigantic proportions and legs without joints and ligatures, rendering them able to sleep while standing. Being absolute units of beasts, these gigantic creatures tower between 4.7 to 6.9 feet, and that's at the shoulder, and they weigh a whopping 441 to 1,543 pounds, exhibiting an imposing presence. The head and body length of a fully grown moose typically spans from 7.9 to 10.2 feet, with an extra 2 to 4 inches contributed by the vestigial tail. The most substantial recorded size for this species was a male harvested at the Yukon River in September of 1897, weighing a staggering 1,808 pounds and standing at an impressive 7.8 feet, at the shoulder, of course. While rumors circulate about an even larger moose, such as a bull allegedly weighing 2,300 pounds in 2004 and another purportedly scaling 2,600 pounds, but none of these claims have been substantiated. Surprisingly, despite the imposing stature that they possess and reputation as forest giants, moose have a rather ironic twist to their fame. They are the alcoholics of the animal kingdom. Well, not because they hit the bottle, but during the autumn season, you might catch a moose stumbling around in a state of high intoxication. Basically, these woodland giants have a penchant for old fermented fruits, especially fallen apples, which turn them into unintentional revelers. But an intoxicated moose is no laughing matter. It's a walking hazard. Unlike their usual composed selves, during this intoxication, moose can go from docile to downright dangerous, and unprovoked attacks become the norm, making encounters with them a risky business. In this state, moose can also end up in odd situations, especially amongst bushes and trees. After consuming the fermented fruit scattered on the ground, they try to reach the hanging fruit in trees, raising their front legs and getting stuck in unusual places. A similar incident occurred on September 6 of 2011, when an intoxicated moose became trapped in a tree while attempting to access fresh fruit, and rescue teams had to intervene to save the distressed animal. Interestingly, moose attacks on humans outnumber those by bears and wolves combined. However, they mostly don't result in major consequences, unlike encounters with bears and wolves. Although they typically display a non-aggressive demeanor, their behavior can take on an unpredictable turn when provoked or frightened. A harassed moose may unleash its aggression on anybody nearby, making no distinctions between tormentors and innocent bystanders. Before attacking, a potentially aggressive moose also shows indication like raised long hairs in the hump and laid-back ears. On February 4th of 2022, during a training run for the Iditarod sled dog race near the Fairbanks, rookie musher Bridget Watkins confronted a perilous situation, as a large bull moose attacked her dog team for over an hour. Despite her attempts with a firearm, the moose persisted, causing serious injuries to 4 dogs. Seeking refuge with a friend, Watkins' ordeal only concluded when the friend arrived with a high-powered rifle, ultimately putting down the massive moose. Like other species of deer, male moose also possess striking antlers that naturally draw attention. These antlers grow as cylindrical beams projecting on each side of the head at right angles to the skull's midline, eventually forking. Intriguingly, research on trophy antlers has unveiled that the palmate antler acts as a parabolic reflector, enhancing sound at the moose's ear. This implies that moose equipped with antlers have a heightened capacity for acute hearing compared to their antlerless counterparts. Notably, these antlers can extend to a remarkable span of over 83 inches, and they can weigh 79 pounds. Yet, the significance of these antlers extend beyond mere physical attributes. Male moose or bulls, leveraging their imposing antlers for dominant displays, effectively discourage possible competitors through sparring or direct confrontations. But the most intriguing aspect of these rare moose face-offs lies in the motive driving them. specifically the impending breeding season. Now, while common perceptions paint these antlers as the ultimate defense against predators, which is true to some extent, they function more as instruments of reproduction than defense. As the breeding season draws near, the moose's antlers undergo a transformation, reaching their grandiose final size. The once velvety skin covering them dries up, leaving an irresistible itch. In dramatic response, the moose takes to the trees and vegetation, rubbing its antlers vigorously to shed the velvet. The process, though somewhat gruesome, serves to relieve the itch, as well as hardens the antlers through the awful cost of skin bleeding. And then the real spectacle begins. Face-offs between mating males emerge, where moose, regardless of their opponent's power, dive headfirst into battle, potentially resulting in fatal injuries, or weakening an adversary to the point where it succumbs to predators or environmental challenges. Like this moose duo, locked in fierce head-to-head clash on a forest-side road with their antlers intertwined, determined to push its opponent into submission. The outcome of this battle holds substantial implications, particularly during the 2-month breeding season from September to October. The victor of such confrontations is poised to enjoy the mating privileges of the polygynous mating pattern, attracting multiple females. Female moose, in turn, also demonstrate a preference for males with imposing antlers, interpreting these physical attributes as a sign of heightened fitness. Throughout the breeding season, both male and female moose communicate with distinctive vocalizations. Males emit robust grunting sounds, audible for up to 500 meters away, while females produce whale-like calls. Female moose undergo an 8-month gestation period, typically giving birth to a single calf, though twins may occur in times of abundant food. The newborns are weaned after 5 months but remain with the mother until shortly before the birth of the next generation. They reach reproductive maturity at 2 years, with full growth attained at 4 or 5. Following the mating season, males shed their antlers to conserve energy for winter, and a new set regrows in the spring after about 3 to 5 months, making them one of the fastest growing animal organs. The dropped antlers, rich in protein, are consumed by birds, carnivores, or rodents, while moose themselves ingest the velvety skin for its nutritional value. As a browsing herbivore, the moose showcases impressive adaptability in consuming a diverse array of plants and fruits. Its substantial body demands a caloric intake of approximately 23,000 kilocalories to sustain its weight, allowing it to consume up to 71 pounds of food a day. The moose draws energy primarily from terrestrial vegetation, including forbs, non-grasses, and fresh shoots from trees like willow and birch. While terrestrial plants lack sodium, up to half of the moose's diet incorporates aquatic plants such as lilies and pondweed, making its sodium requirements despite a lower energy content. So, being a remarkable swimmer, the majestic moose can navigate water to feed on aquatic plants in marshes and riverbanks, exhibiting the ability to dive under 18 feet. Uniquely, among deer, only moose can feed underwater due to their specialized noses with fatty pads and muscles that close their nostrils under water pressure, preventing future intake. But during winters, when the rivers freeze and aquatic plants become inaccessible, the moose are naturally drawn to roadways where salt serves as a snow and ice melter. Adding to their adaptability, the moose's coat comprises 2 layers, a top layer of long guard hairs and a soft woolly undercoat. The hollow guard hairs, filled with air, not only assist in buoyancy during swimming, but also provide superior insulation for effective temperature regulation. Thriving in the challenging expanses of harsh forests, one frequently encounters various threats. However, due to their remarkable size and weight, fully grown moose contend with only a handful of adversaries, including Siberian tigers, gray wolves, and brown and black bears known to prey on moose of different sizes. But although all of these animals are apex predators, bringing down a forest giant proves to be a formidable challenge. Brown bears, for example, often choose to claim a wolf kill or target young moose rather than directly hunting adult moose. Similarly, in a notable incident, a female moose reportedly killed 2 adult male wolves. To sense potential danger, moose rely on their excellent sense of smell and hearing, compensating for their relatively limited eyesight. During feeding, moose often abruptly pause, attentively listening for any signs of impending threats. When faced with danger, moose respond assertively, emitting a resounding roar, more reminiscent of a predator than a prey. They may even charge at adversaries, utilizing highly flexible joints and sharp, pointed hooves capable of striking out in all directions. This underscores their unyielding intimidation. While not always emerging triumphant, moose remain a formidable challenge for even the most untamed of predators. However, predation isn't the only risk that these creatures face. In areas frequented by moose populations, their collisions with vehicles are much more commonplace, leading to the development of the moose test to evaluate a vehicle's ability to navigate sudden obstacles. These heightened confrontations arise primarily due to the expanding intrusion of humans into moose habitats and poaching. But, thankfully, the moose population isn't in too much trouble and is currently labeled as least concern on the IUCN Red List, showing an upward trend in numbers. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.